Okay, so if you have been in real estate for 6 months, a year, doesn't really matter how long, the majority of you realize and understand that in order for you to truly scale and grow your business as a real estate agent, you're going to have to build some sort of a team or own a brokerage one day. There's only one of you as a real estate agent, and just realistically, you can only help so many people at a time. Yes, you can hire assistants, you can hire VAs, like you can have people that are working for you on an hourly basis. But ultimately, most people's goal when they get into real estate is to eventually build their own team or brokerage. And I wanted to talk today about what all actually goes into that and what is not really talked about, what I don't really see talked about on the internet as far as like running or growing a team. Now, me personally, I have started and created several brands over my career. I have had business partners, I've not had business partners, but the one thing that stays the same as far as recruiting, retaining agents, and growing a brand, all this stuff has kind of stayed the same over the past 11 years that I've been in the business, and I wanted to share a little bit of what I've learned. So the first thing that comes with recruiting agents or retaining agents, you need to offer them something. Every single team or brokerage is like, hey, we offer leads, or we offer this great technology, or we offer really great mentorship or training. Like, as a team lead or a brokerage owner, you need something to offer. People are not just going to join on with your team because they like you as a person. Maybe they will. That has happened to me a few times, but for the majority, your agents are looking for a reason why to join your team. So that's the number one thing that you need to consider is if you're going to have a team or own a brokerage, what are you offering your agents? The next thing when it comes to recruiting is how are you going to recruit? I will say that if you have really strategic marketing and branding, agents will come to you. You won't even have to recruit, or you can use different strategies as far as like ads or posting on job posting websites. Like there's several different ways that you can do recruiting, but the ultimate goal is to not waste your time with trying to like seek out people. You want people to be seeking you out. You want people to be like, hey, I want to work for them, or I want to work for that team. So that all kind of comes into place with your branding and with your marketing. So again, a lot of people, whenever they get into real estate, like a lot of people just kind of think, oh, I need to hurry up and make as much money, help as many clients as I can. But really, you need to be considering and thinking about your personal branding and your marketing. This is something that I talk about all the time. This is not just something that you need to be aware of as a real estate agent in order to get new clients. But if you're somebody who eventually wants to grow a team, own your own brokerage, and scale your business, you need to be thinking about your branding and your marketing way ahead of time, because that's going to be what people start to recognize and remember you from is your branding and your marketing. And that's going to help you basically attract agents in your future, instead of you having to go out and like literally just be cold DMing people or trying to like cold email, or everybody's gotten the text messages of like, hey, come join blank brokerage that are just like automatic text messages. Instead of you doing all this cold recruiting, if you're doing your branding and your marketing correctly, agents will come to you and they want to work with you. This actually plays into the next thing that I want to talk about, which is retaining agents. People that have ever had a team or owned a brokerage, you know that when you have agents, it's like a big revolving door. People are always coming and people are always going. But if somebody really resonates with you as a person, with your brand, with your marketing, it's that much easier to retain agents. Along with what we talked about earlier in this video when it comes to what are you offering agents. So not only is it an objective to recruit agents, you got to know how to keep your agents too. You have to learn how to retain them, because otherwise you're just going to be recruiting people, spending a lot of energy doing that, and then training people and spending a lot of energy doing that, and then offboarding people, spending a lot of energy doing that. So whenever it comes to building a team or a brand, it doesn't just you don't need to just think about recruiting and getting them in the door. You need to think about keeping them and also keeping your branding and your marketing alive. These are all things that all play in with one another. The next thing that's kind of crazy that people don't really consider whenever they get into building a brand or a team is actually figuring out how to get your agents producing. A lot of agents I see are like, hey, I'm going to start a real estate brokerage. I'm going to start my own team, but they don't understand that the statistic is very true. Only 20% of agents actually keep their license after the first 2 years, which means for you as a team lead or as a broker, you need to work really hard to get your agents motivated, to keep them motivated, and to get them producing. Because otherwise, owning and operating a team or a business really doesn't matter if you have 30 agents, but only 2 of them are actually doing something. This is something that you need to consider. So what is going to be your strategy as far as training? What's going to be your strategy as far as how the business is making money, how the team is making money, even if the agents aren't producing? And how are you going to keep people motivated? These are all things that you need to think about whenever you are about to start a team or start a brokerage. It is not as simple as let me go get an LLC, let me get my broker's license, and I will just have agents come to me. Owning a team or owning a company, managing a team, it is an entire beast within itself. And if you want to make it worth it, if you want to actually generate income and scale your business and eventually stop producing as an agent, you need to know what you're doing whenever you're going into starting your own team or starting your own business. So these are some things I wanted to talk about. There are so many different ways that you can strategize your real estate brokerage. There's so many different ways that you can strategize your team. It really kind of just depends on what your personal goals are and what your personal goals are. Like, do you want to eventually own a huge team, or do you want to just have agents to pass leads off to? Like, what is your goal? Everybody's goals are different. So that's something that you really need to think about. Over the past 11 years, have had several different teams. I've had several different types of structures, and those structures have changed and shifted depending on where I was at in my life and what my personal goals were. There were times when I was living in Mexico and I just wanted to have passive income from agents. There was a time when had a goal of like growing a huge team and just making money off of giving out leads to my agents. Like there's just different structures for different times in your lives or different goals that you have. So I have a huge passion for helping people with the business side of owning teams or managing teams and owning brokerages. I truly enjoy like mentorship, recruiting, marketing, branding, and helping people build the businesses of their dreams. So I'm going to start making more videos about how and what I've learned over the years when it comes to real estate and when it comes to the actual business side of it, because it is a whole different ballgame from just being a successful top producing agent. I've seen a lot of agents that are like great at producing and they are horrible at running a business. And I've also seen people who are great at running businesses, but they're horrible at producing. It just kind of depends, and you need to be set up for all of it. So comment below where you're at right now in your journey. Do you currently have a team? Do you want to grow a team? Where are you at? And if you're somebody who is like interested in the subject, you're wanting to like dive deeper, I do also offer one-on-one consulting. I have a course about how to build a brokerage, regardless if you are a broker or not. A lot of people don't realize that you can own a brokerage and not be a broker. So I offer a lot of resources all through schoolofapartmentlocating.com. So if you want to know more about growing a team, growing a business, or if you're just an agent trying to figure out like the ins and outs of apartment locating or social media in general, I'm here to help. So comment below. Please like and share and subscribe to this channel if you want more training videos about being a real estate agent or owning a team or brokerage.